Um, can I just have you speak to our audience first about how you got into what it is that you do? Yeah, because I know that you started out in corporate, and I know that a lot of our listeners are kind of ready to make a shift from corporate into entrepreneurship or their own business in some way. So please just lay it out for us.
Yeah, yes, you're right. So just a bit of background as to where was I in corporate. I was actually traveling all the time. So I wasn't just in corporate, I was traveling and I had a very busy schedule, which I absolutely enjoyed. And there is probably times in your life when you're enjoying this kind of stuff, but then all of a sudden you kind of get burnt out and you get tired and you're thinking, what am I actually doing here? And I think my real milestone as to when the change really happened was because I had children, and that really meant a lifestyle change and a rethink altogether as to what is the purpose of life. What's, now I'm not on my own anymore. And so that's really sort of started changing for me. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I just changed and then started a business like overnight. Absolutely not. It was actually really hard. Although I thought I knew it all, and I'm a project manager, and I thought I was very methodical and I could do this. And actually, I felt totally lost in the beginning because I couldn't get myself organized. I couldn't get my head around what I should be doing, because there's so many things online that we are seeing now, even more and more. And I think there is a sea of information, even more so than when I started about sort of 10 years ago looking into this kind of stuff. And it's hard. So it's really important. And I think I'm here today to guide anyone who's actually thinking about moving from corporate or is starting a business or has started a business, maybe just guide them a little bit as to what to do and what not to do. So that's probably one of my little missions today.
That sounds excellent. And there's nothing like working with someone who has that experience. For example, I can work with somebody who's in that sort of change, and I do work with especially women who are in that pivot, maybe from 40 years old to 60 years old. But I really can't address the issues of moving from corporate into your own business. And now you actually guide women to do that. I may be mistaken here. Let me have you clarify that. Do you mainly work with women? Do you work with men or women? Is it a matter of...
Yes. I can work with both genders, obviously. I do understand women very well as to where they're at and where they're coming from, especially when you reach a certain age. It becomes a little bit more difficult. There's challenges around technology and how to set everything up, and it can feel really overwhelming. There's then obviously the whole dynamic around having family and wearing different hats in the family, I guess, and being a wife as well. So I do understand it. So I love working with women because I totally understand where they're coming from. And I'm a head and a heart-led entrepreneur. And this is where we connected as well, Dr. Keir, because as you know, I was a very structured person, project management, right?
Yeah.
And then something was missing, and sort of this whole sort of what you're talking about, the subconscious blockage. And I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about this as to where they came in, because that was much further down the journey when I realized, hey, I'm doing everything according to the books. Why is it not working? What's going on in my business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So now your business now, and has been for the last 10 years, is to...
So I help female entrepreneurs above 40 get their business off the ground and grow their business as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing this on autopilot. So I'm pretty much a person who likes to create time freedom in business. So I have been through a lot of the, like, let's get on social media and post every day and DM people and reach out, and it's just doing live launches and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really exhausting. So I'm actually moved away from that to see how can we actually do things more efficiently and effectively as well, and moving with the times, utilizing some of the new AI tools that are coming in as well, and just going with the flow, because to be honest, people are busy, and we need to understand that as entrepreneurs, and we need to actually make our business work around their busyness, and we need to make our business work for us, and not we are a slave to our business. That's certainly not the reason why I started my business. So
right.
Yeah, that's in a nutshell in like 10, 20 sentences.
Well, yeah, if you're going to be a slave to your business, then you may as well stay in corporate.
Yes, or work for somebody else. And the other thing is, which I haven't mentioned yet, I am still with one foot in corporates because I felt the need for actually going back into corporates and also coaching people in corporate around leadership and more the heart-centered way as well. And funny enough, I'm having lots of conversation with women who want to do great stuff, but they're just sort of being chained to certain procedures and rules and sort of being boxed in. And yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And sort of, it's about unleashing, you know, their voices, whether you're in corporate or not, or entrepreneurs or not. So another vision of mine, for sure.
So, and this is really where this ties in with, for example, the theme of this particular series is being your best you, because there are people who absolutely thrive in that corporate environment, but there are a lot of us who do not. Yeah. So it's more important, in my opinion, of course, it's more important to find out what does light you up, what does, and how that can be shaped into the way that you want to work with other people and the service that you give to other people. Because obviously there's some sort of service involved or your business is not going to thrive. So what I'm getting, and of course you and I have talked many times before, is that an overlap between what you do and what I do is that we're both of us bridges. Yes, we both have a sort of translation function. Yeah. So I'm really addressing myself to women who are in a midlife pivot, and that could be from corporate or it could be from something else. And it seems to me that you're a bridge for women who have experienced that corporate or more conventional business life, and saying, hey, but you can actually create a business around who you are and the unique things that you offer. And then that's going to be set up, and I'm going to help you. You're saying, I'm going to help you set this up so that you don't have to learn that whole new skill set.
You're the clarity bridge around what I want to do and how, and sort of, so in terms of listening to yourself and your subconscious, because I think how would people realize that they're actually not in the right place? They realize when they have sort of a shift in lifestyle. That could be one reason, and then and obviously another reason could be they have a shift in their boss, so that all of a sudden they don't like it anymore, or a team member, or something like this, or they're being made redundant, so then they automatically have to sort of rethink what I'm going to do next. You may not want to go around in circles and do the same old again. And this is probably where you come in, where someone's a bit sort of feeling something's up, not sure what I'm supposed to do. They come to you to clarify that. And then once they kind of know that, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, they come to me for the processes, the systems, step by step, the marketing and that kind of stuff. That's how I'm seeing us being the bridges.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I believe that, with this 10 years experience that you already have, that you are now developing actually a new process to really assist these budding entrepreneurs or even experienced entrepreneurs to get their service out there into the world in a much more efficient way, a much more effective way. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called the Success Formula. And I'm going back to my roots, which were project management, continuous improvement. And back in the days, it was best practice to put best practices in place and SOPs, which are standard operating procedures. So my question was, why can't we put standard operating procedures into how we build a business?
Yeah.
And there's always going to be the same sort of questions in the beginning around what sort of market do we want to serve? Who is our customer? What are their problems? And then we'll go and find out and then create that offer and then create the marketing for it and so on. So I'm actually standardizing it so that it's so quick that one can, I did it myself as well, because I don't want to preach something that I'm not doing myself. So actually, I run through my own process in 14 days, but obviously I did it kind of full time around the kids being in school.
Yeah,
so it's possible, but I mean, obviously, let's say a bit more comfortable time frame. You would have a business set up in potentially 4 to 6 weeks, and you're out there. You have that program. And by the way, we don't need a website because that is something that holds everybody back. So we do something that is much quicker and easier, and all the tech is set up as well. So I'm super proud. It's a little bit still undercover because it's so brand new, and I'm taking all my 10 years of experience and everything I've taught into this sort of system that is so sort of is a process that is really a step-by-step and fill in the blanks kind of approach. But still not cookie cutter. I mean, I don't like cookie cutter. That's why, we're all individuals. But at least it's gonna take everyone through the steps that they need to do, and sometimes things are not getting done in the right order, and hence that's why I'm putting this process in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the self-test aspect of it. So
yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So
proof.
And the fact of the matter is that there are things that however bright we are, and there are a lot of really bright women out there, obviously. We all have our blind spots. I mean, I consider myself to be a very intelligent person, and I look at some of the business stuff and I go, what? And that's exactly why we need people like you, because you've already been through the what? And you're holding our hand, and we're going over that bridge to get something successful set up in an efficient manner. So, I was talking with my mentor the other day, and she was reminding me that, this always is a journey. It's always a journey. So I invite you to just share with our viewers, like, you've already spoken a little bit about your specific journey, but as a client, when a client comes to you, what is the journey that they're making? Like, where are they starting out and where are they ending up? Yeah. So basically I'm saying, why would someone come to you specifically? Yeah.
So I used to run bigger group masterminds, but this is totally new because I realized that sometimes we get stuck and we need some more one-to-one support. So a hybrid of both, I would say. So once you come in, so there is some videos there, but very short, snappy, actionable stuff. Again, I don't like to watch hours of videos. It actually turns me off. So it's literally go and do this kind of thing. It's like a challenge almost. Get the building, the basic building blocks in place. You could do this within a week or so. Where I know other programs are actually teaching this over like 4 or 6 weeks even, until you actually have something that resembles some sort of program or a service, right? So we just really quickly. But we start off with a half-day one-to-one intensive workshop. Yeah.
Okay.
And get you going right off the gate. That is really, really important. A, you're going to have the accountability. B, you know what you're going to be doing. C, we're going to actually, this is where my project management head comes in. Put some dates, some deadlines in place. And actually, it's also for me an opportunity to understand where you're at in terms of your lifestyle. How much time do you have to build that business? Is it something that you're building on the side, or have you got full time, or do you have children? And so we can actually schedule the time in. And I even give you estimated timeframes around doing things, because let's face it, we could do things. If I give you, if I give you like 10 hours to this one task, you'll take the whole 10 hours, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. Plus 10%, I'm sure.
But it's the 80-20 rule. in order to get 80% done, you probably don't need 10 hours. If I say, well, roughly, it should not take more than an hour. And you're 80%, you're going to get there. And I'm sure you're going to go back and sort of refine as you're doing research, or you come to terms, or you had a great dream about what you want to create and you want to add that in later. Absolutely. It's always fluid. So that, I think that's the most important thing about the journey, is this first sort of kickoff, out the gate. And then it's a check-in, it's a weekly check-in. But I would say week 4 there's a launch of some sort. I'm not saying, oh my God, you got to go on video and do all this kind of stuff, but we've got everything ready to actually press a button and then get a client in. Because so it's not really, jumping into the water and then swimming, rather than just looking at the water and saying, yeah, we can plan how to swim, but why don't we just jump into the water and swim a little bit and see, oh my gosh, it's actually wet, or it's too deep, and go back and, amend things or fine tune things. Because you know what, let's face it, a lot of entrepreneurs plan for months, if not years, and they never really launch, and they procrastinate, and they start their self-doubt and all that kind of stuff. So to avoid that, take a shortcut.
So what I'm hearing is that someone's coming to you because they realize that they don't actually know where they're going. They don't have, they need a map. They need a map, they need a guide, and they need someone to help them stay focused.
Yes, I think it's focused. So there's 2 kinds of entrepreneurs. There's the ones that really don't know what they want to do, but most of the time they have an idea of roughly where they want to go, or where they want to be, or they even have a program, but it doesn't sell. But it's that bridge, how to actually get there, and what are they doing right now perhaps that's not quite working. So we got to actually look at that. That's even step 0. That's even before we really start. I'd actually do an audit with someone and say, what are you doing right now? So I can instantly say, with my continuous improvement hat on, because I was always a troubleshooter in the factories when I was working, to actually look at a process or what people are doing, ask them a few questions, and I would instantly know where they were going wrong. And then I could go through how to do it, how, kind of nudging them where they could be going and what could be a better way to do things.
So what I'm hearing is, and I'm going to draw on what I know of your background, is as an Austrian, right? You're not only showing them how to ski down from once they've got off the top of the ski lift and they're at the top of the mountain, you're actually pointing them to the right mountain too. Like, use
the
this
right mountain. Go to this one.
I'm going to ski down with you.
Well, I'm going to make sure you got the correct skis as well, and that you know which restaurant to go to actually have an après ski. So it's a whole experience.
Exactly.
Right? Because if you don't have the right skis, you don't have the right tools. Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to flounder. Yeah.
And I tell you what, and you know me, right? I've been in this industry for 10 years. I have been with other coaches for 10 years, and I have seen the programs, and every single time something was missing. So what am I doing now? I'm just taking all the bits that were missing and pulling it together.
Excellent.
And quite often it was theoretical things. People were teaching about how to put an offer together, how to research your customer avatar. Well, that's all good and well, but what do you do with this information once you got it? And how do you put it out there? And how do you actually get customers? Do the whole thing, to go the whole mile, put the technology in place so that it works, those buttons work, this page is up there, and you have something to show for.
Right. So you, as you say, you do end up in the pub at the end of the day by a roaring fire, and you can actually have a little time to yourself, because if it's not ultimately to have more time, more money, better health, better relationships, which are really what you're offering your clients, then there's no point even going through the process. So I love the fact that it's multifaceted, is what I'm saying.
And funny enough, I mean, there's so many entrepreneurs out there now. They call themselves entrepreneurs, but if I'm blunt, if they're not making 5,000-10,000 a month, that's no business. That's a hobby then, isn't it? If it doesn't cover the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and I have spoken to people, or let's say I have an application process in place, which I also teach my clients, because that's a bit of a gatekeeper and a check-in before I actually meet anyone.
Right.
To say, you know, have you got investments ready for working with me? Because if they say no, or I can only afford like $100, and you think, well, actually, are they really serious? And then another question is, do you have time right now? And if they say no, I'm actually super busy, but they're not making the money. So what are they working on? How are they spending that time really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of these big sides, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's why we need, my clients and your clients, this is why we need that outside eye. You know, I mean, yes, of course, anybody can learn to take the steps that are required and how to take those steps. You can absolutely do it on your own. If you're a self-starter, more power to your elbow. But my experience is that most of us, including you and me, we just need that outside eye sometimes to say, have you thought about this? Now, wait a minute, this doesn't really, I'm speaking my language in my world. This doesn't really check. This doesn't seem like really you. So how can we get more you? How can going, and how can we get you more in the now? And of course,
that's exactly what you did with me. I'm going to go back to my notes. I'm going to actually show this. Whoever needs to see this, right? This is what you do, what you did to me. So and this is true for everyone, all the entrepreneurs. We have too many ideas.
We do.
And then we're talking about focus. It's about, and this is why I'm focusing on this one program now, because I could have like 20 different programs out there, but then you spread yourself too thinly, because A, who's going to market the programs, and B, what are they all already pre-videoed, and you don't have to actually go and deliver. What if there's 1 or 2 people that signed up for this program? Do you have to go and deliver in addition? So you got to think about the logistics here as well. So I remember we had this conversation, and I have this actually here. Just in the front of my new notebook, I don't know, did I have 20 ideas?
Yeah.
Yes. So I probably around about 20 like new program ideas and things that I could do in terms of, income streams. And here I have, you told me what I should be doing, right? Write it all down.
I muscle tested.
You muscle tested with me. And then out came top 3 or 4, which I then took further, and then I used some of my tools then to progress that, because I'm now thinking, I'm going to score this in terms of how does it feel, how much money will it give me in terms of reward and sort of input of time, how does that work? So I've actually scored myself here 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. And so this is how this program has come about. So just wanted to prove that it can also be a piece of paper.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that part. Yeah. And this is the thing, and here I'm speaking, directly to our viewers. If you're stuck somewhere, there is somebody who has the genius to help you get unstuck. Now, for me, it tends to be, let's get you 100% in being you and 100% in the now. And I use my Geotran and muscle testing, my activations, and I've got a whole big toolbox. That's great.
You got your toolbox.
Nina's got this great toolbox for getting you from, I've got this idea, but I have no idea how I'm going to carry it out, to, well, that was fun. And look, there are people who want what I'm offering. Isn't that cool? And, oh gosh, I really see how to carry this out, and there's somebody standing by my side with experience who's going to help me and keep me accountable. That's Sabina's genius. So if you're in that place, you want to talk to her. How's the best way they can get hold of you, Sabina?
Yeah, so obviously you got on the screen successformula.pro, and then Sabine@thesuccessformula.pro would be my email address, and then I'm also found on Facebook and Instagram, where I'm very inconsistent. But that's why I'm not teaching. Well, I do teach organic strategies as well, but I actually like some of the other newer strategies that have come out through the pandemic. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the landscape is changing all the time.
It's totally changing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had a thought there. I can't remember what you were saying about getting unstuck and things like that. But I mean, definitely, you've helped me. I just want to say that you've really helped me, because for about 2-3 months, I was in a space of like, what do I really want to do? Because I've been doing lots of live launches and challenges, which felt like really like hard work. And I just really wanted to get my business to a sense of where I can sort of step back and have a bit of ease, and sort of things are coming towards me. And that's the reason why what I put together and what I'm using right now is actually going away from all the hustle, that you think you need to do in order to be successful. This is absolutely not true. So proving that now, right?
Yeah, I'm very interested in this process and this method that you have figured out. So, because all of us, as I said before, if we wanted to be working 10 and 12 hours a day, we'd be working for somebody else. No. The whole point is to get to a place where we're working 2 or 3 days a week, tending a process that already works and that works for us and gets us to the place that we want to be, including, both time and money at our disposal. Obviously.
Exactly. So, and the great thing, and again, I gotta just vouch for you here as well, that when I had days where I was feeling down, and then I could just message you and say, what's going on? And then, let's clear this, right? Yeah. And then I felt lighter, and then I could then go and do a video or another presentation, right? Because it's the energy, isn't it? It's like,
yes, it really is.
Clear anything that's sort of heavy, and also limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, all kinds of stuff coming up, even for me still, like all this stuff is hidden underneath the surface, and that's where you can, that's what you're fixing or helping to. I mean, it's a continuous journey.
Yes. It really is. And, we all have our place in the circle. And that's what I find so fascinating when I, talk to people like yourself and like other entrepreneurs, other coaches, other mentors, other people working in this field, is that we each have that place in the circle. Nobody can take our place. But that gives us unique gifts that we can then hand on to other people. And I know right now that there's somebody waiting for you to come onto your own Zoom. Oh, I'm so thankful that you had at least this little slot to give to our viewers. Really appreciate it, Sabina. So everybody, look, Sabina's very easy to find on Facebook because she has such an unusual name. So write it down. Text you about what she's doing and the speed and efficiency and just the genius of it. Write down her name and go and find her on Facebook, and she'll give you a lot more information. And just basically, she may just have the kick up the butt that you require right now. So we will just release you back into the wild to deal with your clients.
A gentle one.
And just, really, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that you are, showing up as well and sharing this wonderful message and being you and the work that you do, Dr. Keir.
Well, we are just mentally clinking our champagne glasses together. Ding!
That's it.
Well, I'll let you go, but thanks. Appreciate it.
Take care. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.